Hey, this is a podcast. No, wait, it's a comedy podcast. Well, we tried to make it a comedy podcast, and it's not meant to offend anyone. So don't get offended, okay? And wait, there's something else. Oh, yeah, yeah. Listener discretion is advised.
Audiomatic presents Our Last Week.
Hi, Kunal.
Hello, Pal.
Welcome.
Yes, welcome to our listeners. And
I don't know what we're welcoming because we're welcoming each other in a
yes,
room.
yes,
And we are in Bombay again together.
yes, we
How
are.
lovely is this? This is turning into a small family.
Very nice.
And we are wearing our conundrum t-shirts.
Tree shirts.
Tree shirts.
Yeah.
Shirts made from trees.
It says
Tree shirts.
it says conundrum in the shape of a
Conundrum.
question mark.
Yeah. And you can have your own t-shirt. You can sit with your own headphones in your house.
Yes.
Listeners. All you have to do is go to patreon.com/our last week.
And subscribe.
You get a t-shirt.
And
And
you
if you're
get
very good, you might get us in the package as well. Open your Amazon and then one of us pops out.
yeah.
That's
आपके लिए कोई
scary.
आया है.
कोई courier में एक आदमी है. And that would be quite terrifying. Because imagine if, I think you've done a film like this, right? Where you sort of latched onto another person. In the film, you were about to commit suicide.
Yes. An adaptation of a French film, Nautanki Sala.
Correct. And then what happens is that the other guy who saves you, you kind of latch onto him
Yeah.
and want to spend all your time with him.
So you're saying that we'll be
Imagine
that.
if our listeners, there was some offer that our producers thought of because
Yeah.
they are wicked, devious people, where they said you get one of the things if you are a top subscriber or whatever, you get Anuvab or Kunaal. You know, like they do charity auctions,
Yeah.
but there's no time limit.
Yeah.
And we don't have that much to do.
Yeah.
So we then just become part of our listeners' lives.
And we just live in their apartment and,
And
stuff like
this
that.
is how to lose a subscriber, one subscriber at a time.
Yeah.
Because we show up and they're like, okay, we just, I love your podcast. I listen to it for half an hour while I'm cooking, but that's my relationship with you.
Yeah, I can't have you sitting over here on the couch watching TV all day.
Like I've fed you now for 4
Yeah.
days.
Now, what else you want me to
You
do?
do have a family? Or?
You're not even making fun conversation.
No.
And you shouted at my wife.
And you kicked my dog.
Yeah.
And you turned away my post. You had a fight with my society chairman. Leave.
Please. So you're saying that we should be these people to our listeners.
I don't think so. I think that
A little appendage.
some offers should not like.
So
So
basi-
just the t-shirt.
Just the t-shirt, I think
without
is better.
us in it.
Or you could win a meeting with Anuvab or Kunal
Yeah.
or neither.
And please pick the neither option
Yeah.
for your own safety. And if you do win the meeting with us,
Yeah.
you should put a time limit on it.
Yeah.
Like you have big stars. Shah Rukh Khan says, all of you that are here for a selfie, each of you will get half a minute.
Yeah.
And they see the audience go, here the audience should decide. I don't want more than 20 seconds
With them.
with them. Please put that in my contract.
Yeah.
Kunal, you brought a fascinating topic that I've been thinking about a little bit earlier, which is to do with artistic relevance.
Yes.
And we were talking about a famous actor, we won't name him, who had a strong burst in his early career, Bollywood actor, who made a lot of money and then does not act anymore. And has a pretty good life.
Yeah.
He made all the money from that burst of films in his 20s, 30s,
Yeah.
that age group. And now it's obscure, hasn't been heard of in about 5-7 years. Lives a pretty good life, has money. And you were saying that sounds pretty good.
I think it's great. I think it's a good way to be. And sometimes I wonder what my life would be like if I didn't have any pressure or like any zero
You didn't do
financial
anything.
pressure.
And let's extend this out to our listeners because there might be many people here who listen to us who are in tech,
Yeah.
who are worried about layoffs.
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
just artistic professions. The people
Sure, of course.
all over the world who
do
might
real
suddenly
things,
find themselves, who do actual things,
who do actual work.
for whom this is a waste of time.
Yeah.
You know, who might suddenly find themselves with some savings and no employment.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always a lot of pressure that people put on themselves, we put on ourselves, for income. You know, like, where is my next paycheck coming from?
It's important, right? You need to live a decent life. You want to
Yeah.
do good things in life and have wonderful experiences, and
But if you have limited income needs, like you don't need a fancy car, or you don't, you're saying if you just made some money in a burst, and
my question is what you do. Okay, now say people who do like say a high level banking job, investment bankers, they make a lot of money. They get a lot of kick out of making that money and cracking deals. I don't know about the legacy that a lot of these people leave behind. Some are very big and they change the system, but most, I would say,
Replaceable.
just are replaceable and just work in the system, make a lot of money, and then leave.
Yeah.
We in the artistic world, whether it's fine art, or whether it's the performing arts or music or whatever it is, we put a lot of importance on leaving this indelible mark on the world.
Yeah.
And
like,
we think that
like, even with this podcast,
Yeah.
we think like all listeners, like, they are talking about us when they're not listening to us.
Yeah.
Like, that we are.
that we're so much a part of the people. I'm just saying that these things are great. I love, entering into having conversations and being a part of people's lives for a little while, and it's great. I love doing it, and even if I had a lot of money, I'd probably still continue doing it. But the desire for most artists is to be seen, heard, and remembered.
And this idea that we are having some deep impact in somebody's life.
And some deep impact
While
on
they're cutting
society,
onions
or some we're going to change a lot of and I would say that that a lot of artists do have that impact in terms of, now this is a new way of seeing painting,
Yeah.
suddenly, wow, like, look at that cubism, and look at that
Or Tom
impressionist,
Cruise, making film.
or Tom
for
Cruise
Shah
making
Rukh
films,
Khan. Yeah.
whatever. People do change things around, and you're part of the wheel of change. You're part of that whole process of change. But ultimately, no one really is remembered.
Yeah.
Like, we have great comic artists, and we have some great comic directors from the past, from the 20s and 30s, and some directors from the 60s and 70s.
Or even say the people that won the Oscar last year.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm saying,
don't have to go that far.
you don't have to go very far. You don't have to go very far. Who's the director of that
now,
movie?
that guy for that year
Was big.
thought he was like.
And maybe
Julius
he
Caesar.
did. Maybe he did push the needle in one direction. Maybe he, did like move a sprocket a little way, and people start seeing things a different way. I get that, but in the grand scheme of things, like, why are we looking at
If
only
he met
100?
If he met a big fan, he'd be like, yeah, I was a fan of you. Who are you again?
Yeah. What is your name? Sorry, But I'm saying that is just in our own lifetimes. So I'm saying that is something that we feel the need to be validated within our lifetimes. And also that we live on beyond that.
The actor Nasuddin Shah recently said to the press that he doesn't want to be remembered.
Yeah.
Because he's beginning. I think when you get to a certain age, press always asks actors,
What do you want to be remembered as?
65, I think, is that age.
No, I think they ask even young people.
Yeah, after a certain.
How would you like to be remembered? I don't know. But I know for a fact that I will be forgotten.
Last night I saw a lady on Instagram Reels doing upper back exercises. And I remember her. Now, 6 years later, if I met her on a flight and she says I do Instagram Reels, I'd remember her. Like, if she reminded me that I'd seen a little Insta video, I'd remember her. So maybe, don't you think that in some little way, you've impacted some people's lives? Like, maybe there's somebody who's going into a consulate thinking your president is coming.
Yeah, there's a difference between occupying space in a person's brain.
Yeah.
and being remembered for some moment in time. I'm saying like some people just do things so they momentarily occupy space in other people's heads.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, whether it's worth being remembered for or not is a different issue.
Like if you left a 5-star hotel
Yeah.
toilet
Yeah.
totally naked.
I mean, not even that. Say someone said, "Sir, this you've just done this movie. How would you like to be remembered?" And I just got up and I started gyrating. Okay, I just started like doing pelvic thrusts into the camera and into his face, and then I said,
Be remembered.
"I'd be remembered." I mean, it would be a brief moment, and it would
You'd
pass.
be all over social media.
I mean, it would be, or like. Say I started behaving like a monkey and scratching my underarms, and just like doing some, like sitting on the chair and and I just did something like that for a little while.
Sounds like our last 3 films together.
Correct. Then people would remember that for a little while, but it's not. I mean, it's
Remember Kunal Roy Kapoor?
Yeah.
Oh, what's happened? And you would be
yeah,
in discussion
but I'm
everywhere.
saying that it's not I'm saying none of this. Whether I'm on a chair as a monkey or I'm in like one of the biggest films of all time. 500 years, 1,000 years down the line, I will be.
Like that, say the 2 actors in
five
RRR.
minutes down the line.
Yeah, 2 actors in RRR. Or even say Bahubali 2. The actors of Bahubali 2 are already forgotten for RRR.
What is Bahubali?
Bahubali 2. You know Bahubali, the film.
It was a movie.
Bahubali 2
Okay,
was
okay.
India's biggest film.
Right.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah. I remember, of course.
There we go. So now if Rajmouli can't keep you entertained,
Right.
he's given India 2 of its biggest films.
Yeah.
And we are in this bizarre line of work and they can't remember. What fate do we have?
So that was what was begging the question is that by
Would you be happy?
being not known?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this actor seems to be very happy with his life. He's got a car, he's got a house.
Exactly.
I'm sure he has a partner. He
And
has
that is
food.
all that there is to life, right? I mean, like, there are other things, but I'm saying
So-
fame is like a thing, but it.
Some questions. So say you had a monthly income and it wasn't a lot, it wasn't a little, it was enough. Day 5 passes, you're doing nothing. No, you're doing things. You said that, say, there's some things you wanted to do. Like,
I do things. I think I'd get into some carpentry.
yeah, you were telling me, you could tell our listeners some of the things that you want to build a wall.
Build a stone wall. Not to keep any other people of any other like community out. I just
Yeah.
like walls, like walls in a garden.
Yeah.
With a little moss growing on it and something out of stone. I'd want to get into fermenting things,
Yeah,
growing
okay.
things.
Okay.
Of course, building a few things.
I'm
Swimming
very
a
much-
lot more.
I'm not asking these as sort of to make fun of you. I'm asking these because I have a very similar worldview. I think we're similar ages. I'm a little bit older. We're getting to that point. where
Yeah.
I'm beginning to also ask, what would I do? So my partner always tells me that I would waste time.
Yeah.
I would be a wastrel.
Right.
Because we are also after the generation of actors and creators who at home drank.
Yeah.
So when they had downtime, they drank a lot.
Right.
So they sat at home and everyone thought, oh, you'll get depressed, you'll drink and then you'll break things and hit people. You know,
Right.
like it's going to go down there. But we are a more conscientious generation,
Right.
not as conscientious as the one after us. So we wouldn't
So we wouldn't end up in drink. Yeah.
and because we are not doing anything.
Yeah.
So you would do these things. I'd be productive in different ways. I might, write a play. I might pick up some tennis. I've been wanting to play tennis. But I don't have anyone to play tennis.
I mean, I'd
with.
watch that also.
Yeah.
I'd pay to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you would have the time.
I'd have the time
Yeah.
and the money.
Yeah. Correct. What does it cost to come and watch me play tennis?
Yeah.
And I would maybe play more badminton because I now have shorts.
That I wouldn't watch. That's
That's a
There's
little
too much
frightening.
stretching.
Correct.
Yeah.
You'd rather go and work on a film you hate.
That would get me back to work. Those are the things that I would say. Maybe I should be working. What am I doing with my life? The thing is that a lot of people say, but then, say, for instance, people thought that you're talented as a writer or that I'm that I have some talent as an actor or performer or whatever, you as a stand-up comic. And people would then start saying, but isn't it a big waste of talent isn't it a waste of your time to do these other things? Isn't it a waste of your talent to not do that?
I think it's a good. Okay, if you've never done it, then you'd have the desire to do it. But we've done it for about 15, 20 years. So there might also be this idea of like you've shown the world some glimpse of talent.
I mean, some people think that it might be good. Some people, whatever, people have their
Glimpse
opinions.
of talent.
Yeah.
And now it's a question: is that enough? Like this is now. Some people realize at 40, this is. I've shown you the whole thing. There's
This
no
is it.
other thing to show you here.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yehi
now,
che.
bas yehi hai.
Yeah.
Now I'm giving you variations after a certain age of the same things you guys have seen before.
Right. Right.
Or I'm building a wall. I'm playing badminton. Because
Right.
I've shown you now pretty much.
But I'm saying that in most other jobs,
Yeah.
like say you're working in, client servicing, or you're working in IT, or you're working as a, as any, like there's so many jobs. You're working in the railways, in
Yeah.
logistics.
Yeah.
And you have a great run professionally, and then you retire, and then you do things. How is that life less valuable
Not
than
at
an
all.
artist's?
Because people be like, remember that manager we had at
I'm saying, what if no one remembered also?
Yeah.
I'm saying, even if no one remembered,
that you were at ICSI?
that I'm saying everyone forgot. In 10 years, in any case, everyone forgets.
It's a good job.
I'm saying you did your job.
Yeah.
You
Moved on.
You moved on. You did what you wanted to do, and then you made some little money and you lived your life.
Yeah.
I'm saying now if you and maybe there is a big talent also in running logistics. It is a talent thing, and a lot of scheduling and planning and all of that.
So there's no memory of you. So you're actually, this is a great conundrum. Your question is, what is our obsession with memory? For example,
and only in terms of art.
But you and I have left footprints. On the
But
internet.
those footprints, I mean, on the internet, in TV shows, in movies, in books, on stage, all of these will be washed away, right? With the
Maybe.
sands of time, and with
also,
the tide comes in and goes out. It's gone.
It's gone, but it could also, people would know you existed, right? And you're saying those things are irrelevant.
Yeah.
In our retail profession, you have to know people existed. But now that you move on and you build a wall and you play with your kids or whatever, and say you may or may not go back to the movies, whatever, that's irrelevant. The fear that artists have is lots of people will say, oh my God, what happened to him? What happened to him?
Where is he?
What happened to
What
him?
happened to him?
And as if that's a bad thing,
Yeah, and that's a great thing.
right? So say you found a new love for being a property broker.
Right. I actually, it was I would really like to get into it, but
And you showed people flats, and the people you showed flats to were like, wasn't this the actor Kunaal Rakam? The first assumption is you've fallen on hard times.
yeah, you know what's happened to him?
He's a property broker.
Yeah, he's going around trying to sell these 2 BHKs as 3 BHKs and all. He's trying to convince me that the kitchen is actually a storeroom and all that stuff. It's an extra. There's no storeroom. What is he doing? This guy, I mean, he's an actor, but come on, man. You can see that it wasn't a 3 BHK. So,
But you genuinely love it.
I would love it. I would
Right?
love it. Yeah.
Let's say you genuinely loved it and did it.
Yeah.
Let's say I wanted to always be a tour guide of historical sites in India.
Yeah.
Because as we've discussed, there's a lot of bullshit.
A lot of bullshit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because people they never show you the history.
Yeah.
In fact, I met an archaeological survey of India lady and I told her and she agreed with me.
Yeah.
She's like, they'll always say, "Arey sir, ye sab bhul jaiye. Ye dekhiye, yahan pe Hanuman ka some rubbish they'll tell you." And they'll make up some nonsense. And so I just want to go to these places. I mean, they won't let me because there's a big separate problem. There's a big mafia of touts
Right.
who'd bash me up or whatever.
Right.
But I'd still be there in Hampi or whatever, all bloody and stuff,
Yeah.
telling the few foreigners, come, I'll give you a proper tour.
Correct.
You know, so I love those like BBC TV presenting shows.
Yeah.
And I'd sort of walk around giving people a view of history. Now, there might be somebody who's seen a comedy show of mine
Yeah.
who would wonder why I was in the heat of Hampi giving people a tour of the Vijayanagara Empire. You know, and people like, oh, he's not getting shows anymore. Would be the first assumption.
Saying no, it's a perfect allegory for, what can happen in the Vijayanagar empire fell and crashed and
Yeah,
burnt.
and
The
this
same
comedian
thing
also.
happened in his career.
Yeah.
What could be better? You're seeing it happen in front of you.
You know what he's doing now? He
Yeah.
runs a small restaurant.
He used to be the king of comedy.
Yeah. So I think that sports is easier because you're like, I'm retired. You announce it to the world
Yeah.
in sports. I'm done. And people are like, he's done. He's 40. He's done.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like in entertainment, it's a little bit trickier to ease out.
Right.
You know, small venues, small places. I feel like because we are retail entertainers to a large amount of public,
Yeah.
I think that the burden of memory dissipates because we are reaching out to too many people. The burden of memory is very strong if you are famous in a tiny place for a tiny thing. Like my school still remembers the guy that tried to piss from on top of a tree on Founders Day. And he will perpetually be a legend because it's a small environment and not very many people on Founders Day
Have
would
done
get
that.
drunk and go up to a tree and try to piss.
Right.
So he comes back to school, people will always remember him. So if you've done something where you've left behind a memory,
Even in a small circle.
especially in a small group,
Yeah.
that's a much better way to be remembered. You know, like if you suddenly in your best friend's wedding went for no reason and ended up kissing the bride's brother on the lips, and neither of you are gay, you just give him a big long smooch, you'd be remembered.
Correct.
So I think we are doing the wrong game. I think for memory, I think you need to go small, not big.
Possibly. Possibly.
So you being the monkey, if you did that in an environment where people are not expecting it, but it's also not a film promotion where
Yeah.
people expect some insanity. The cameras, etc.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
For true memory making,
It would be better to do it at at some sort of formal ceremony.
yeah, in a small sort of like for example, I have a show in Indore, okay, on the 24th of February.
Okay.
Now, if I went to that show in Indore and I did the entire, instead of doing the show, I sang 2 Whitney Houston songs. And I left. I went back to my hotel. I'd be a legend in Delhi College Indore
Yeah.
for a long time.
I mean, they'd want you back to hit you. Like they'd want you back to.
That night will be a rough night.
Yeah.
It's like, and now comedy from Mr. Anuvab. Hey, wanna dance with somebody? I wanna feel the heat with somebody. Kya kar rahe hai? Somebody who needs me. Thank you. Good night. And I left. I'm saying that college and
Yeah.
it's for a batch reunion. They would remember
They would remember. I mean, they'd talk about it for years to come.
that group. I'm doing a show for only 80, 90 people.
Yeah.
You know, it'll not be. So I think it's where you do it also.
Where's that guy now? Yeah. I don't know.
I heard he became a tour guide in Hampi.
Yeah, yeah. Something he's doing.
Because he had lost his mind actually. By
And
the
his
time.
voice.
By the time he came, he thought he was Whitney Houston. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like a
Sad.
small, bald, fat Bengali guy. He thought he was a tall African American woman. Anyway, you're going to Hampi.
No, no.
Kunaal,
Yes.
I have a completely different conundrum.
Okay.
I'm in the middle of house hunting.
Mm-hmm.
And every house I'm looking at in Bombay, flat, house I mean flat, obviously. I mean, I should explain this to our non-Indian listeners. I mean, basically, most people in Bombay cannot afford a flat till they're in their 60s, 70s.
Yeah. Just before they die.
Yeah, unless they've inherited it. Maybe it's true
Right.
for most world cities now.
Could be.
And this one flat I liked, the seller said, look, I own half the flat. The other half is owned by my brother. And I will pay for a plane ticket for you to go talk to my brother. He lives in Australia. If you can convince him, we'll sell you the whole flat. And obviously most buyers will be like, why will I do this, etc. And we just talked about the fact that, I'm trying to do things with my time. Do you think it's worth going on this flight?
See, I haven't been to Australia.
Yeah.
So what I would do is that say I say I wanted to go to Australia
Yeah.
and make a
Regardless
trip out
of-
of it,
yeah.
regardless of the flat. I would say, sure,
Yeah.
send me.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm not going to pay you anything. I mean, obviously, I can't pay you half the value of the flat till I know I'm going to get the whole flat.
Yeah.
So you buy me the ticket, I'll go, I'll convince him.
Yeah.
And firstly, do you like the flat?
I like it, but do I like it enough to get into someone to resolving a family
No,
dispute?
why I'm asking is that if it's a decent enough flat,
Yeah.
okay, and if it ends positively,
Yeah.
okay, that you are able to convince him,
Get the brothers together.
then you've got a trip to Australia. You know, you've gone to the Great Barrier Reef.
Yeah.
You've gone
The
to
Great Ocean Road.
you know, you've done that. You've gone to Sydney. Maybe you'll go to Melbourne, go to Perth on the other end. Who knows what you could end up doing? Have a lovely 10 days over there.
A reconciled family.
Yeah, you know, and you've got a family together also. And said that you are the guy who's got this whole thing done. You come back after a lovely 10 days in Australia and you come back successful and the deal goes through.
Yeah.
In the other scenario, you go to Australia,
Yes.
you have a lovely trip, and he says, "Are you mad or I'm never going to sell anything to that haram zada brother of mine? You fuck off from here."
Yeah. Yeah.
And you
I'm
come
trying
back,
to shoot him twice.
and then you come back.
Yeah.
So then, what have you lost?
Nothing.
You haven't, okay, you spend a little bit of money on food
In
and a little bit
Australia,
over
yeah, which I
there.
wasn't planning,
You weren't
yeah.
planning, but you're getting a ticket there and back. Unless he says, I'll fly you there but not back, which is a separate. But
Also, I don't know what violence the brother will unleash on me.
that is a risk you run.
Because, it's like going to a foreign court as an emissary.
Yeah.
Aurangzeb, he had beheaded
A few
several
people who had just come with a
Turkey,
message.
With a message, just the messenger. He killed the messenger.
So
it's
you're
a
saying
risky
that.
job.
Yeah.
It's a different message you're sending back.
But I think that in both cases, if you can get a trip to Australia, which is not
Yeah.
a cheap ticket, it's expensive to go to Australia.
Yeah.
Get a ticket to Australia. Maybe you can do a few stand-up shows there. You
Yeah.
know, you got a huge market, I'm sure, in a lot of places in Australia.
Very big.
Very big in Australia. You
Yeah.
do 2-3
Yeah.
shows there.
Yeah.
You know, and you head
I'm
back
huge in the northern territories.
the desert area.
The desert area. I'm very big.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of entertainers go there. So I've cornered
Yeah.
that market by just going.
And I think even in the south in Tasmania, you'd be known.
I'd be very big over there.
Very big. So you can do these. You can do a
Only
little.
Indian comedian coming this week.
Yeah.
Papa. Only Indian comedian who's ever come to Tasmania. It's like that. Why do you think Bombay real estate doesn't just come with a property, but comes with a story and a backstory, which the buyer has to resolve?
See, the buyer has to buy into the story of the flat.
Yeah.
It's not a
He's
flat.
Not just buying a flat.
You're buying the story of the flat. It's
Yeah.
it's like a little bit of fiction.
Yeah. You know why we have this false ceiling?
72 May. There was a case over here. Just like you know. So you should be comfortable with the history of the place.
We are transparent sellers.
Yeah,
We're just
yeah.
telling you.
So this guy used to keep birds. And then you don't know where it's going to go. You know? That he had to do a false ceiling for some bird problem he had. Some bird got caught in the false ceiling. You don't know what's going to happen. Okay? But every flat will come. See, every old building.
Yeah.
Every new building also comes with a story, but that's with the problem of the land itself.
Correct. They don't own the land. It's
They don't own the
leasehold.
land. The OC is on its way.
Yeah. It's all
I've seen recently we were walking down Bandra
Yeah.
and we saw a countdown to OC timer. It was a digital timer that said countdown to occupation certificate.
Correct. And often when the builder goes to prison, the time stops.
It stops. It's like now he's doing prison time. We'll start the timer as soon as he's out.
So it is a time. It's a clock that works. It's Einstein. It's
Yeah.
time is relative.
So basically, when you see a flat, you see the layout.
Yeah.
You know, you see it's bright, airy, okay, high enough floor, not much sound, great, lovely, okay, green view. Now tell me the story.
The story is everything.
Abhi, now tell me the truth about this flat.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I want to know the whole story.
And sometimes the owner will not give it to you, right? So he'll say, the flat price is X. But they're quoting 10% less. So then you'll call your trusted broker and be like, find out the story.
What is the deal over here?
See, what happened, sir? What happened now is that 3 years ago, this guy made a pass at that guy's wife's sister. So this guy, middle of the night, came and built a wall there, sir.
So you are not going to get one full room. That room is not there. Why? It's showing on the plan, मगर वो plan में नहीं है.
वो ले लिया है सर
वो society वाले ने हड़प लिया है.
बीवी का वो इंसिडेंट था
वो
ना
था
86
थोड़ा.
पे.
But rest of the flat is no issue.
Correct. And there are things that you can't, there's sort of private feuds and individual things that you only like become aware once you are
In it.
in it.
Yeah.
Like suddenly you might open a drawer and there's someone living in it.
Yeah.
You're like, who are you? He's like, no, I come with the flat. They didn't tell you. Who are you? He's like, I'm here. I'm part of the flat. I'm in this chest of drawers. I come with this. My favorite is when the broker shows you the thing and then tells you, he's like, see this wall? This is not a wall. And that wall also you're seeing now, that's actually something else. It's a table. So the house also is fiction.
Yeah.
Things break, things open out, and things have been led to that from fights,
Yeah.
from disputes, from stories. So it's just the narrative becomes most important. My favorite also is when the house is not owned by the person
Yeah.
who's selling it.
Yeah.
Like you'll get into a full thing and then be like, but who is Mrs. Enid Nazareth? Hurry, we'll get a signature. But who is she? And then you find out that she had given the flat in some weird something.
Yeah.
So there's one flat I saw where the broker said everything is fine, this is all great. But एक signature लगेगा. किसका signature लगेगा? वो एक आदमी है जुहू में. But who is he? Like, why is his
Why is he on this? Why is he part of this deal?
So in this whole thing of buildings, there's one little paragraph written.
Yeah.
And also before any share transfer certificate is issued, you need the signature of Mr. Parvarish Patel. Like, who is Parvarish Patel? Why do it's a clear flat with bank loans?
Nothing, no problem.
And now we have to go find him and then please him.
Yeah.
And just because that line, like, now you want to know the story
Yeah.
of Parvarish Patel. And,
How did it come to be?
yeah, and he's apparently their Vastu consultant.
Oh.
So he needs to check out your energy, the buyer's energy. So if he doesn't approve my energy, I can't buy the flat.
So then you better work on your energy and then go and meet him.
I'm full energy today.
Yeah.
This has been our last week.
This has.
We are the makers of conundrums, and you can help us make them, and we can
Please do.
make conundrums together.
So send in your conundrums to our last week at audiomatic.in and go to patreon.com/our last week and subscribe. Become subscribers.
Yeah. And honestly, tell us what you would do if you did nothing.
Yes.
Yeah. Not even as a conundrum. Just tell us and we'll read it out.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye.
You were listening to Our Last Week, produced by Rajesh Tahil and Avdut Khanolkar, hosted by Anuvab and Kunaal Roy Kapoor, assistant producers Akansha Kadam and Rahul Vaswani.